welcome to the Industry of Things World 2016. It is a great pleasure to have one of the 3 HPE Fellows of Europe here with me, Colin I'Anson of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, our lead partner of this event. Hello, Colin.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us here at the event and giving a keynote this morning. You talked about a very interesting aspect of IoT, and this is the ecosystem that needs to be created around the Industry 4.0. How do you envision this ecosystem to look like?
I think it's going to be an ecosystem that's going to be built around outcomes. And it's going to be how you start to produce new business results, given a whole different world that you're working from, in particular how you start to collaborate. And moving from just simple pipelines, where A works for B to C to D, to actually working with networks. So it's going to need a whole new set of collaborations, a whole new net of networks coming together. So from pipeline to network. It's also going to need a good foundation of platforms, good foundation in the design, so that we can actually work together and know how to work together. And you've got to imagine what this federated world can start to look like. The speed of response it can start to give. The ability to create jobs and bring manufacturing into new locations, perhaps even push them back into city centre locations, so that goods are produced exactly where they're needed. They get quickly to the individual at the end, and there's no huge transportation charges, time lost in transportation. This is a world that really allows the outcomes to look more like what I want, rather than 3 months ago it was built in a factory and shipped.
Mm-hmm. You already mentioned some of the requirements for implementing the IoT Industry 4.0. Anything else you want to add there?
I think the biggest thing of all, it's a new way to do business. It's not just going to be simple transactional business. We're going to have to work together potentially in groups of companies to produce good outcomes, because we need to bring the very best out of each one. And the federated foundation that Industry 4.0 gives us starts to build that foundation. It's not there, it's growing, it's embryonic at the present moment, but it's there. And it says, very importantly, that we're going to need standards so that we can bring that together. But it's also going to be very impactful of our people, because our people are going to have to learn new roles, new jobs, and in particular learn how to work to the best part of their business and not have to do what other people can do even better than them. So there's going to be a lot of change and a lot of learning and education, improving the quality of the type of employee that is working in the environment.
I see. Well, we have mostly senior level executives here at the conference who are all looking for ways to implement Industry 4.0 into their businesses. What would you say are currently the biggest challenges for businesses?
So I think that we did a little survey among the delegates, and we got back some really good answers. As I mentioned already, change is one of the biggest things, and the leaders of businesses really have to figure out how they can change their business, how they can evolve. It's not going to just be little step by little step. It could be major transformations, major changes. Those leaders have got to be ready to do it. And I mentioned already the importance about actually the data, having standards to work with that data. It's absolutely critical that we have that foundation sitting in front of us. But the hardest piece for the business leader is to make sure they collect together all of the data for the business case. I've been working with a number of customers recently, and how you bring that data for the business case together is very difficult. Much of that data is hidden. Much of the numbers, much of the logic just doesn't exist. But you've got to find it before you can start to do something really transformational and really different. And many of the problems exist because much of the data exists held in lots of different silos in a company. Not necessarily silos that are built for bad reasons, but just because that's the way the company is built, that's the way it's designed, that's the way the logic and knowledge exists. So companies have to think about even their own ecosystem so that the data comes forward so you can start to really build great business cases and find outcomes.
Whole new logic then.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for the valuable insights and for joining us here today. We hope you enjoyed the session. And would you summarize the event for us in 1 to 2 sentences, please?
I think this sentence is really summarized in one word. People. Because people are the DNA, it's the substance that ecosystems are built of. This is a place quality people coming together and actually talking in the corridors together. That's valuable.
Thank you very much for answering our questions, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you.